Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Chapter 101. Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala says, Babu la ya'ibu ta'am wastihbabu madhihi. One shouldn't criticize the food. One shouldn't say bad things about the food. And it's recommended to do the exact opposite, which is praising the food, saying good things about the food, making compliments on the food. One shouldn't say bad things about the food. It's either makruh, disliked, or one may say tarkuhu awla, or khilaful awla, khilaful adab, something that you just shouldn't do. Whether it is actually makruh, one of the 5 main rulings in fiqh, it's disliked, looked down upon, or whether it's something that a person should just avoid, stay away from. It definitely isn't the best thing to do, khilaf al-awla. For obvious reasons, it could lead to a person being ungrateful. It could lead to a person thinking or feeling that he's entitled to eat in a certain way or a certain manner. It can lead to offending or hurting the feelings of the one who prepared the food or brought the food to you, your host, your family, your wife or husband who cooked, the one who's serving you. You could be breaking their hearts, etc. It can lead to a list of problems. In the second half of the chapter, in light of that major fiqh principle, is that whenever there's a prohibition of doing a thing, then it's an indirect command to do its opposite. And whenever there is a command to do a thing, it's an indirect prohibition of its opposite. So don't find fault in the food. Don't say bad things about the food and do the opposite. Say good things about the food, which will lead a person to being grateful, humble, which will lead to a person putting a smile on the face of he or she who prepared the food, presented the food, served the food, the host, etc. Khairan, inshallah. The first hadith, the author says, وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال ما عاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم طعاما قط إن اشتهاه أكله وإن كرهه تركه متفق عليه. First hadith is reported by Abu Hurairah. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never ever said bad things about the food. He never looked down upon the food. He never criticized the food. He never critiqued the food or said bad things about the food. إن اشتهاه أكله. If he desired it, if he wanted it, if it was good, he would eat it. وإن كرهه تركه. And if it's something that he didn't like, a smell or a flavor or a taste or a color or meat, it's unknown or I'm unfamiliar with it, or the people where I come from don't eat this, tarakahu, he would leave it be. He would leave it be. And the hadith is agreed upon. The highlighting proof from the hadith is clear, whereas the Prophet ﷺ would not find fault in the food. That's the first half of the chapter heading. Period. Secondly, we learn from this hadith, as we say, we learn from one thing, we learn 10,000 things, is the simplicity of life. The simplicity of life. If it's something that you don't like, don't eat it. Khalas. There's no issue, there's no problem, there's no beef. There's no need to say anything bad or nasty, derogatory. Just leave it be. How many things can we apply this to? Unfortunately, in a marriage, the husband doesn't like the wife. Wife doesn't like the husband. Instead of fighting and arguing, saying bad things and causing harm, just khalas. You go your way, I go my way. It's that simple. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah bless you, sister. May Allah bless you, akhi. I hope you have a good life. I wish the best for you. Assalamu alaikum, peace. Oh, I don't want to tell people I got divorced. I don't want the people to know I got divorced. In my culture, a woman can't get divorced or a man can't. What's the mushkila? What's the problem? Just because you got a divorce, that does not mean that you're a bad person, that you're an evil person, that you're a bad Muslim. But it didn't work out between us. It wasn't meant to be. For one reason or another, khalas, we part ways. And so many other things, a business agreement, if you agree, if you like the contract, if the price is good, if the wages are competitive enough for you, take it, sign the paper. And if not, you walk away. La wa shukran. La wa shukran. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much. I'll pass. There should be no guilt, shaming, or guilt tripping. You have to, the brother didn't want to be the imam of our masjid. Oh, we gave him a good offer. MashaAllah. Khalas. And vice versa. You don't have to say things bad about the administration. It just didn't work out for me. So we parted ways, or I never even took the job at the masjid. Khalas. Simple. If he liked the food, he would eat it. If he didn't like the food, he left it be. And the same applies to the host or the server of the food. Not to force a person to eat, not to bully a person in eating, not to making a person feel like they're bad. I'm not in the mood for this food. That's it. Khalas. We make things in life so difficult, which they're not. They're not supposed to be that difficult. It's really not that difficult. Wallahu a'lam. Next, the last and final hadith of the chapter. Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala says, وعن جابر رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سأل أهله الأدم فقالوا ما عندنا إلا خل فدعا به فجعل يأكل ويقول نعم الأدم الخل نعم الأدم الخل راه مسلم. طيب. Narrated Jabir radiyallahu anhuma, one day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he asked one of his wives for some condiments, whether it be a sauce or paste or something that we would use, something we would call a sauce or a condiment, ketchup, mustard, right? Whatever the case may be, mayonnaise, hot sauce, pepper sauce, etc. Okay? And they responded by saying, we only have vinegar. That's all we have. Okay, bring me the vinegar. The Prophet said, he said, bring it. And he started to eat. And he would say, نِعْمَ الْأُدْمُ الْخَلْ. What an excellent sauce vinegar is. What an excellent condiment vinegar is. نِعْمَ الْأُدْمُ الْخَلُّ. And this hadith is collected by Imam Muslim. The highlighting point from the hadith is that he praised the food. He said good things about the food. End of discussion. Khairan inshallah. So this hadith shows us the simplicity of the Prophet ﷺ's life. And it shows us how to be grateful and appreciative of Allah's blessings. And it teaches us to make the best of what we have. To make the best of what we have. And to make the best out of the situation in which you're in. Tayyib, khair inshallah. Now, a few issues before we stop. The first issue is, what's meant by ya'ibu ta'am? Finding fault in the food. Aibul ta'am. Is it finding fault in a way that the food was prepared? Don't say that the food is too salty or too sweet, or it's rubbery, it's overcooked, or it's raw, it's bloody. Did you just catch it out back? Did you just hunt it? It's bleeding. The meat is literally jumping and running on my plate. It's so gamey and bloody. Or the steak, the chicken breast, the salmon fillet is so dry that I'd rather, I could eat a piece of chalk and it would be juicier. The chalk would have more moisture in it than this piece of meat that you burnt. What's meant by that? It's finding fault in the way that the food was made, or finding fault in the food itself. Oh no, chicken again. We had chicken last night. Fish again. I'm tired of eating red meat. Beef again. Noodles again. We had rice for the. That's all we eat is rice, rice, rice. What do you think I am, Vietnamese or give me something? I'm tired of eating rice. What's meant by that? Is it finding fault in the preparation of the food, or the food itself? Rice is bad. I'm tired of rice. I don't want rice. So on and so forth. One and two interpretations. Secondly, and obviously both are possible. Both are possible. Whereas if you tell the person that the food is too salty, a person may say, I'm not finding fault in the food, but I'm telling them that they didn't prepare it correctly. Obviously, a Muslim should stay away from both. But the question is, can a Muslim give constructive criticism? Especially if the one who prepared the food asks you for constructive criticism. How is it? How do you like it? I don't like it at all. It's disgusting. You've ruined it. It's horrible, actually. Can you say that? Or it's good, but I think you need a little more salt, a little less coriander. Maybe you should have cooked it longer, or maybe, etc. Can you give someone constructive criticism for the purpose of them doing better the next time, according to your likings? And what happens if someone prepares food for you in a manner which is clearly unacceptable to you? You don't like it, and you put a smile on your face. You say, "Ni'mal udmul khal." What an excellent sauce the vinegar is. It's great, even though the food isn't great to you. And then they make the same mistakes in the future. Will that lead to wasting food? Khairan, inshallah. Are there any exceptions of this when it comes to the husband and wife? Tayyib. Last but not least, the last question or discussion is vinegar. And can a Muslim use or consume vinegar that comes from wine? Red wine vinegar, is it lawful or not? Is there a difference between vinegar that a wine that turns into vinegar itself by itself versus the industry of making vinegar from wine? And that's a discussion among the people of knowledge. And very important in the modern world today, whereas we have the industry of food, what are the chances of a wine bottle sitting there and then it turns into vinegar by itself and then you using it? Whereas some ulama say that the vinegar can be transformed into, or the wine can be transformed into vinegar by itself, but it cannot be done intentionally externally. Khayran inshallah ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.